Heto na ang talakayang magbibigay linaw at kabuluhan sa mga isyong may kinalaman sa teknolohiya. E-Talakayan, kung saan ang IT ay hindi pang eksperto lamang, kundi kaalamang inilalapit sa bayan.
Yan, isang magandang hapon ay tanghali po sa ating lahat. Narito na naman tayo sa isang episode ng e-Talakayan kung saan ang IT ay hindi pang eksperto lamang, kundi kaalamang nilalapit sa bayan. Ayan, wala po akong partner ngayon, pero meron akong sub ng aking partner. Ayan, so kasama ko si Noel Feria.
Magandang hapon.
Yan, magandang hapon. So wala si Trixie ngayon. Trixie,
Anyari.
get well soon. Get well soon.
Get well soon.
Yes. Okay, and of course, introduce na rin natin ang ating isa pang guest. So, we will introduce you now. So, mga kaibigan, ako po ay mag-code switch from time to time. I will be speaking in Filipino and English because para sa ating guest. Ayan. Okay, so our guest for today is a mobile application developer, and he is a business developer for Lukey. So, mamaya malalaman natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng Lukey. Ano nga ba yun, di ba? So, let's all welcome Mr. Benjamin Iiams. Sorry. Or Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I told him that I will be speaking in Filipino for the first part of the show. So I'll be translating you the one that I'm speaking in a while. That'd
Really
be okay?
appreciate that.
Yeah, okay. So let's recap our previous episode. So napakinggan mo ba yung dating episode natin, Noel?
Hindi.
Hindi, okay.
Busy kasi sa grades, di ba? Deadline ng grades.
Oo nga pala. So congratulations sa mga estudyante na nagse-sem break na ngayon. So this is semestral break for our students here in the University of the Philippines.
Hell week is over.
Hell week is over.
Are you allowed to say that on the radio?
Yes, you know it's a part of the UP lingo, right?
Yes.
The Hell week.
Hell, really?
Yes.
The censors in the next room are giving us wagging fingers.
No. It's okay. So congratulations to our students na nakatapos na ng kanilang mga requirements. At sa
may
mga
grades na din
at may
sila.
grades na, 'di ba? Kailan may deadline ng submission for grades?
Yesterday. It was yesterday.
Yesterday. Yan. So hopefully walang bumagsak pero malabo 'yun. May mga bumagsak pero better luck next time.
Oh, kaya naman yan.
Kaya yan. Okay. So our previous episode was about ICT freelancing. So kasama natin si Ate Tams Laborte tsaka si Stanley Similia. Ayan, so pinag-usapan natin yung kung paano nga ba magsasucceed bilang isang freelancer. Ikaw, Noel, na-experience mo ba mag-isang freelancer?
Sort of. Hindi ko
How
kasi
about-
mag-describe
Yeah. Our previous episode was about freelancing. So have you experienced being a freelancer before?
I've never been a freelancer myself, but I've definitely worked with individuals
Mm-hmm.
who worked on a freelance basis, and definitely a wide range of experiences.
Yeah, okay. So so our previous guests talked about freelancing. So there were Stanley and Tams. They talked about how someone can succeed being a freelancer, being just a freelancer. And they gave us tips on where to find work, where to find jobs online most of the time, and how much salary should you be asking if you are just a beginner.
Right.
Yeah, as compared to if you have this amount of experience already. Yeah. So, yun. So, marami tayong natutunan doon. And of course, if you are a freelancer, you should also be paying your taxes. So, remember that you're still a professional. So, you have to pay your taxes.
Right.
Okay. So, kung si Trixie ako, itong sasabihin ko sa akin. Diba? So, kung di natin napakinggan yung ating previous episode, so marami kayong paraan para mapanood or mapakinggan ang ating previous episode. So, we have the e-Talakayan website. So, you could go to our website sa media.itdc.up.edu.ph/e-talakayan, or you could go to our YouTube page and see our faces. Hi, say hi to the camera. Yeah. Okay, so just search for e-Talakayan. You can also follow us on Twitter. So twitter.com/italakayan and facebook.com/italakayan. Okay. So let's now proceed to our focus for the day. So our topic for today is mobile apps for education. Yeah. So again, as I said earlier, so we have here mobile app developer, and he is a business developer for Lukey. So Lukey is an example of a mobile app for education, right? So, but before that, and we also have Noel here from the College of Education. So what are you teaching in College of Education again?
I teach educational technology to undergraduate education students from different fields like early grades, PED, science, math, all of them.
Yeah, so you'll have more input about, mobile applications for education, right? Okay, so first off, let's talk about you, Ben. Don't worry, I
Wonderful.
wouldn't be asking you personal questions, but yeah. So, okay. So can you tell us about yourself, your occupation? What are you doing now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in the States,
Yeah.
but I'm half Filipino. I've been here many, many times. This is a second home for me.
Mm-hmm.
I came back at the beginning of this year to work on this startup, Lukey. I've always had a fascination with startups, and to actually be involved in one now and to spearhead it is really exciting. Lukey, I can talk about Lukey, maybe
Yeah,
share a little bit about the app with your listeners. Lukey is an app that helps teachers eliminate Facebook and Candy Crush from their classrooms.
Okay.
So a real powerful need for it in the modern day classroom. And it works by giving tablet-enabled schools tools like document collaboration and screen monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
We've definitely spoken with a few local schools here who are on iPads and Androids, and we think there's a really strong need for a tool like Lukey.
Yeah. So do you know of any school here in the Philippines who are already tablet-based or you no longer uses books?
Well, I'm not sure regarding not really using books, but definitely they're using both books
both.
and tablets, iPads. I think Xavier has the 1:1 setup for their students as well as LaSalle. Well, I'm not sure regarding. Well, for UPIS they have a class there of 30 students. I mean 31:1 student to tablet ratio.
Mm.
It's really remarkable, actually, if you look across the spectrum of schools here, where you've got some schools like Mint College in the Fort. They're on iPads. But if you look at a more historical school like Don Bosco, they're the same way. They've taken the steps to become more technologically advanced.
I also know of a school in Caloocan. It's called St. Clair College. So I believe that they're already using, because I've been seeing in their ads when I go home in Caloocan that they're already using tablets and no longer books.
So fully digital.
Yes, I think so.
Actually, that's a very challenging situation, especially in a scenario wherein perhaps some of the locations don't have internet connection. Like how are you going to access the resources, especially if they are uploaded online?
Okay.
I think, that's absolutely. I mean, having spoken with different schools, I think infrastructure is a really difficult challenge here in the Philippines. And then, but even from location to location, it really varies. Actually, I was just meeting with one international school last week, and they were talking about enabling not just one internet carrier, but they have two internet carriers, and they run their entire word processing suite, their Office, in the cloud. So they don't even have locally installed versions, but they seem to manage it pretty high.
Nice.
Okay, so let's talk more about Lukey after the break. Okay, so let's have a break first. So the time is 16 minutes after 1. So ang DZUP 1602 ay kasapi ng KBP o kapisan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas. So we'll have to do something. When I say DZUP 1602, you say kasali ka.
Kasali ka.
Yes. Okay. So ready? Okay, so sa DZUP 1602, kasali ka!
E-Talakayan.
At kami po'y nagbabalik dito sa e-Talakayan kung saan ang IT ay hindi pang eksperto lamang, kundi kalamang nilalapit sa bayan. So kasama ko po muli, ako po si Joy, kasama ko si Noel.
Hi.
And we have with us Mr. Ben Iiams, yes, of Lukey. Okay, so we were talking about mobile apps for education, diba? But for now, let's have a bit of IT news first,
Right.
diba? So So, Noel, nakapag-update ka na ba?
Syempre naman.
Okay,
Siguro
so ako
mga-
hindi pa.
Okay lang yan.
Okay, so anong update nga ba yung pinag-uusapan natin? So, nailabas na po ang iOS 7.0.3.
O mga ano yun? Anong oras ba yun? Siguro mga alas 3 na umaga.
Okay, inabangan mo ba yan?
Inabangan ko siya.
Inabangan mo ba yan? Okay.
I was up at 3 a.m. and then boop, it prompted for an update, so I updated everything.
Yes, I was asleep during that time. Okay, so what are the features? So, reminders lang to those who want to update their OS, their iOS to 7.0.3, you will need at least 1.2 gigabyte storage for you to download this update. Okay. Okay, so what are the features? One, of course, may bug fixes sa iMessage, Siri, and voice over input, ano pa ba? And more. Ayan.
Siyempre kumbaga mas optimized yung mga apps. Kasi
Yeah.
marami sa mga bagong versions ngayon, for example, is yung mga iWork. For example, yung GarageBand.
Ano nga ba yung iWork?
Yung iWork, isa siyang productivity tool na parang siyang Office. So it's like Office, so it has Pages as its word processing software, it has Numbers, it has Keynote as its slide presentation software.
Is it
So,
proprietary? You have to buy it?
Yeah, it's proprietary.
Okay.
Well,
So,
actually,
Is it a freemium? No.
premium. What do you mean premium?
It's free but there are certain
Actually,
that you have to pay for.
If I remember correctly, it's free for all newly purchased devices, newly purchased iOS devices.
Since when? Because this is a year.
I think if you have a new device, if you have a new iOS device that you just bought,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually get the free
iWork.
access to those apps, to those paid apps.
Okay.
Well, only if you have a newly bought device.
Okay. Mine is fairly. I know it's not too old, but not new either. Anyway, yeah. What else? So we have the better SIM stability for iWork, and Icloud Keychain. So what's Icloud Keychain, nga ba?
So Icloud Keychain actually keeps track of your account names, password, and credit card numbers. I actually tried it earlier, so I activated it on my iPhone, and then it prompted for a passcode. It asks you for a passcode that you want to set for the iCloud Keychain. So
Okay.
there was an option there that you can use the device's passcode, and then thing is, if you deploy that, or if you use that passcode for that device, and then if you activated another device, for example an iPad, it will also ask you if you want to activate that device through the former device.
Okay.
Or you can ask it to send an SMS to the former device. So I actually tried the latter one, the SMS one, but the thing is, I think it's kind of long, so I just activated it through my former device, through my iPhone. So I think you need to integrate everything.
Okay. So how many passwords can you store?
I haven't tried it yet.
Okay, so I probably need that because I most of the time forget my passwords and usernames for certain networks or
Yeah, and I use different passwords for different sites.
yeah, me too.
I don't use the same password.
Yes. Okay, what else? We have the password generator. Diba? Ito po, Safari can suggest hard to guess passwords. Yeah.
And
And
enhance reduce motion, setting to minimize both motion and animation. Kasi diba sa iOS 7, there are lots of features there, yung mga moving background,
yes, a lot of
animated backgrounds.
animation.
So, at least meron na setting para ma-configure pa sila lalo.
Yeah. Kung ayaw mo, pwedeng alisin. Pwede ba yun?
Pwede i-deactivate.
Ganun ba? Kasi di ba parang sinasabi nila na mabagal yung iOS 7 kasi
There are lots of apps
there are
running in the
lots of-
background.
yeah.
So, I think it's a good thing that there are features there that can disable those special effects.
Animations or motion.
Just the animations.
Yes.
It can also help you reduce the save battery life.
Did you hear that some people were getting sick from looking at the motions?
Possibly.
Possibly.
I mean,
so,
motion sickness.
yeah,
Amazingly.
they get dizzy.
Yeah.
So probably if you're not the fan of animation or motion on your mobile phones, then you could probably turn it off.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, and another news. So Apple unveils the 1 pound iPad Air with 9.7-inch Retina display.
Yeah, it's actually a very it's very light. Although I haven't tried it yet, of course.
Yeah.
It actually makes you think of getting an iPad Air because Apple's also released another device. I think it's the iPad Mini.
iPad Mini Retina.
The iPad Mini. So you're going to think twice or thrice or many times what to get. To get the iPad
Mini or this lighter one.
or lighter
it has a bigger screen. Yeah. Okay, so what are the features of this iPad Air? So it is 20% thinner and 28% lighter from the 4th generation iPad. So I have the 2nd generation iPad.
Yeah, I have the 2nd generation too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna, but this one is very tempting.
Right.
This iPad Air. I was not tempted for the new iPad and the 4th generation, but this one is kind of tempting. Yeah.
But I think I'm going to get the iPad Mini. If ever, I'll be replacing my tablet.
Yeah.
Because it's lighter.
Okay.
Maybe they'll release an iPad Mini Air.
Oh.
Who knows?
iPad Mini Air. You will not feel it.
Right.
You will not feel that you have it because it's so light. Okay, so we have the 5 megapixel eyesight camera is capable of shooting 1080 pixel ba to? Is it 1080p video,
Yeah.
and the FaceTime camera on front includes larger pixels and a backside illuminated sensor for better image quality. Okay, we have here for the iPad Air, it has MIMO, so you could enjoy faster Wi-Fi and look for expanded LTE support from international carriers as well. So it has 64-bit architecture, so 64-bit na siya, and A7 ang kanyang processor and M7 ang kanyang motion chip.
It's faster.
So mas mabilis siya.
Yay!
Yes.
More fun in playing games like
Yes.
Infinity Blade.
Very important.
Okay, so sa mga nag-iisip dyan ng mga gustong pangregalo sa kanilang mga anak o sa kanilang mga magulang, di ba? So pwede nyo i-consider ang iPad Air na ito.
Yeah, it's very timely because in 2 months, I think it's 2 months. It's already Christmas.
It's already Christmas. Yes. So it could probably be a good,
Christmas.
gift idea
Yeah.
for, your friends. No, but would you give your friends iPad Air? I'm
No.
not sure. That
Must
would be
be
for
really good
myself.
friends.
Yeah, you're really. I would want to be your friend if you'd give me an iPad Air. No.
I'll make it a gift to myself.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's continue with our previous in connection to iPads, right? So if you will purchase iPad Airs, you could probably have this, the Lookie,
Yeah.
right? Diba? Mobile app for education. So, can you tell us more about the features of Lookie?
Sure. So probably the top feature of Lookie is the ability for teachers to look over their students' shoulders without actually looking over their students' shoulders. What Lookie does is it takes your entire class roster. If you're a teacher, you want to see how your students are progressing on the worksheet, their homework, what they're writing. And you can do that with Lookie, you just at the touch of a button. This saves not only the distraction of, say, looking over the student's shoulder and maybe causing him that pressure, but in addition to that, it allows the teacher to get a lot higher resolution data. You can actually see and follow along with what the student's doing as opposed to just sort of getting a glimpse if you're working with
Right.
traditional paper.
But it's real time, right?
It's real time. It's real time. So over the shoulder is one feature, and then beyond that, though, there's a collaborative element that the teacher can now engage the student in a way that he couldn't before.
Yeah.
If, for example, he notices that many students are struggling with a particular problem,
Yeah.
Right.
he can bring them into their own group and work with them as a small group separate from the rest of class, or perhaps address them outside of class afterwards.
Right.
So.
The thing is,
So-
how was it conceptualized in the first place? I mean, how was the app conceptualized?
Well,
From
the app actually emerged from a thesis project here at the UP, at the Computer Engineering Lab, actually.
Yeah, because the developers are from UPITDC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this application, as I read in your website, that Lookie is supported by and the Enterprise Center of UPITDC. Yeah, so that and the developers are mostly from are all of them.
Engineers.
They're all from.
They're all from UP.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, UP has been a huge resource for us, and even our developer house is not far off campus. Really pleased with the talent we've found here, and I know that this can be such a challenge for many others that I've known in the startup community. So
Yeah.
very, very fortunate to work with with UP students.
Of course. All right. So let's okay, so this is a good time for a break, so we could talk more about Luki after the break. Okay, so probably Noel, you would like to do the time check?
Ang oras na ay 30 minuto makaraan mag-ika alauna ng hapon. Ang DZUP ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas, sa DZUP 1602.
Kasali ka!
E-Talakayan.
Okay, and we're back dito sa e-Talakayan, kung saan ang IT ay hindi pang eksperto lamang, kundi kaalamang nilalapit sa bayan. Ako po ang inyong lingkod, si Joy. Kasama ko si Noel. And of course, our guest for today, Mr. Ben Iiams of Luki. And we were talking about the Luki, or it is a mobile apps for education. Okay, so off the air, we were talking about the development of Luki. So I was asking Ben, how long did it take you to develop this application?
Well, this is something we've been working on for the past few months, since the beginning of summer, even. So it's definitely been an adventure working with local UP developers, and I think very soon we'll be commercializing it and making it available for public release.
Okay,
So how many developers were developing that app?
Well, so previously I mentioned there was a thesis project a student was working on, and beyond that, we found a full-time developer to help really take it from a concept to an actuality. So now there are two full-time developers.
2 full-time. Wow.
Okay, so I was just curious, how did you get into the project? I mean, do you know some of the developers and they got you as a business developer, or they pitched you the idea, and then how did you get into the project?
It's an interesting story, actually. Closer to the beginning of the year, I'd come to the university to visit the Enterprise Center, and came across this project. They were interested in doing more with it, and certainly I'd push them. And months later, I'd reconnected with them. This is now maybe the springtime here in 2013, and I was really impassioned, and I really hoped that they would push it. And as they felt my encouragement, we started to work closer and closer together. And now today, it's it's a marriage.
Yeah.
It's a partnership.
Yeah. So are you currently looking for more developers for the application?
Right now, the number one thing we're looking for are testers. Schools that are using iPads in their classroom in particular. We know the benefit this can make for schools, but we'd like to actually see that in practice. And right now, it's a bit of it's a challenging process, because we haven't commercialized, we haven't released.
Right.
So we're looking for those sorts of open-minded experimental schools that want to be at the frontier, that want to push themselves further. With their mobile devices.
So you want to have them test the application first before you upload it to, like, for example, the App Store.
Yes, exactly. We can give them special limited editions, limited copies that they can experience before others do.
I see.
Okay, so for the testers, will you be leaving the application to them after it was tested?
Yeah, for example, I'm interested in. I have an iPad. I have an
Yeah, for
iPad
example,
right now.
I am for example, I'm from a school, and then you will be testing the application in our school. So will you be leaving the application, or?
Well, it's definitely something we'll work with schools on an individual basis to find something that works for them.
I see.
Okay. Yeah. So do you? We were talking about earlier about what Luki is for the teachers. So what benefits will the teachers have from this application? So what about for the side of the students?
From the students' perspective, it's a great way to work together, to have a clear understanding, as your fellow classmates might have, or as the teacher is trying to share. But beyond that, it allows students who are struggling in class to keep up.
Mhm.
Maybe they've written down the notes,
Mm.
but the knowledge hasn't been absorbed into their minds.
Right.
Looky helps them replay those moments from class.
Yeah.
So if you are like many of my friends, and you're struggling to get to that top 10% bracket of the classroom, but you're really motivated, Loki gives you a tool to get there.
Nice.
So I was thinking, like, for example, if you're teaching math, for example, so by just looking at the notes, probably you get confused. How did the teacher did this again? I
Right.
do this again.
Make a recap.
Make a recap. So what came first? Did he add first or divide it? Yeah, for mathematics, I think. But I'm
Especially for drawing figures.
Yeah, for doing
geometrical
figures.
figures.
There's definitely, and when it comes to math and physical sciences, geometry, there's definitely a very useful element where everybody can collaborate on the same visual surface.
Right.
Mhm.
But it's somewhat surprising. Probably the most encouraging, the strongest feedback I've gotten so far from language teachers.
Mm.
It's surprising, isn't it? Because language is usually thought of as a
Yeah.
verbal,
Yeah.
a class.
So can you give us an example of how it is used in a language subject, for example?
Well, two ways. One is the live element when the class is taking place,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second way is then in breaking down the language and creating a structure that's understandable to novices. So in that first way, in the collaborative setting, oftentimes teachers of languages will use interactive whiteboards.
Right.
Yeah.
And
okay.
tablets are just the next iteration, the next wave that allows basically all students to have their interactive whiteboard at their fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to replaying that class, you can imagine, right? A student comes across a word or a sentence that he doesn't understand
Yeah.
that he's taken down from class, and to be able to actually go back and replay that moment, to hear the pronunciation,
Yeah.
to hear the
exactly.
explanation again, that
Right.
has, I think, deep value. And so we're very, in our pilot cases, we're definitely targeting.
That will
Mhm.
definitely be helpful or
language
beneficial to especially foreign languages and understanding
Mhm.
foreign languages. Let's say they want to learn Spanish or German. They can record how to pronounce the actual words, right?
Absolutely.
So you already have the audio recording for Luki now.
But right now we haven't released anything,
Mhm.
so there's nothing available,
Yeah.
unfortunately, for your listeners to download just yet. If you go to if I might direct them to our website,
Yeah.
it's lookyapp.com.
Mhm.
You can sign up for our mailing list and
Mm.
receive updates when we release.
I
Cool.
see.
All right.
The thing is regarding the application. For example, I'm the student, and then there's this teacher. Can it also support many teachers?
Absolutely,
Many
it's
teachers and many subjects.
not every class is taught by one teacher. There are
Yeah.
definitely student-centric courses where, in some sense, the school considers all the students teachers. Right, so it's meant to be a very flexible tool that accommodates lots of different learning structures.
I see. So for example, for instance, if I'm the student, I can change my mode to being a teacher as well.
As a student, you may not have that authority,
Mm.
but if the teacher, the person who starts the class, gives everybody the authority to teach, you too, as a student, will
So
have
there is an
powers.
administrator control panel or something for the teachers.
That sounds really complicated. There's no administrative control panel, but teachers can moderate
I
discussions
see.
Okay.
and share those moderating powers.
Because I was wondering, because I'm handling undergraduate education students, which means they will become student teachers for a particular class. So let's say I'm their teacher, and then can they use the same app to teach another set of class?
Absolutely.
I see.
So
you
there
can
are
switch.
modes.
Yeah, you can switch. You don't even have to go different modes. You don't even have to. As a user, we've really tried to make this as simple as possible.
Mm.
Right.
So you don't even worry about different modes. You just know that as a user, as a student, as a regular student, you may have limited powers.
Mm.
But as a teacher, you have many, many powers,
Right.
including the ability to make others teachers.
I see. That's nice.
Okay.
It's a little, it's like Karate Kid, right? The student has become the master.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
very interesting.
Yeah. So what else? Do you have any more features?
Well, I think what we're trying to do is instead of making ourselves feature rich, we're trying to be feature tight.
Feature
Something that is very well integrated,
Mm.
serves a few basic needs,
Right.
and get students, teachers, classrooms to love us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before expanding the feature set.
Mhm.
Regarding the conceptualization of the app, did you also try consulting education specialists or teachers?
Absolutely. I mean, this is something that's been conceptualized hand in hand with local professors and instructors.
Mhm.
It goes without saying that, given my very limited experience teaching, I may have had many years as a student, but very limited experience teaching. It's something that has benefited the project immensely to work with real
Mhm.
professionals.
I see. Because, for example, in my college, they're trying to validate, for example, a particular app. If it's effective for
Mhm.
teaching, then perhaps you can tie up with the professors there in the
Mhm.
College of Education, so that they can make a study if it's effective for a particular subject, or where is the app most effective for using in the classroom.
I really appreciate the suggestion. I would love to work with UP College of Education.
Yes.
It sounds like is very open-minded about
Yeah.
how it integrates new tools into the curriculum.
Right.
And for sure, that's a real value. Thank you.
It's
Noel.
actually a game changer. Definitely game changer.
So I would just like to ask if, for example, this is some sort of a danger when you are giving iPads to students. Do you worry about them, switching from this particular application to another? Like, for example, doing Facebook instead of doing Lookie. So does the teacher have the power to know whether the students are actually listening to them, or actually following the class, or doing something else?
That's a great question. And this is something we put a lot of thought and consideration
Mhm.
into, about giving teachers power and control, but with a soft touch. And so basically, if a teacher has the ability to see a student's screen through our application. But if the student logs out of the application and, say, is checking now personal messages on Facebook,
Yeah.
it's not as though the teacher can see those personal messages.
Right.
They just see that the student has logged out of the application and is
Mm.
no longer attending the class virtually.
Okay.
So we think this strikes a really harmonious balance between allowing the teacher to know that a student isn't attending to the class,
Right.
while not giving the teacher so much power that that the student's privacy might be harmed.
So the teacher would just know that, hey, this student is not accessing, is not in the application. Probably is doing something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But will that still work, for example, because you can run apps in the background. Can it
Mhm.
also run in the background? Like, for example, if I switch to Facebook, will that app still be running in the background?
Look, I believe iPad is multitasking,
Yeah.
and has been so for years. So I think it's running in the background.
I mean, can it confuse, like, for example, it's not necessarily signed out.
But
Right, but it's not on the. It's not on the.
it's not on the
Yeah.
screen.
No. It's as long as the user isn't. It's not the foremost focus in the user's screen.
The
As soon as
teacher will
user
know.
presses the home button.
I see.
It's
Okay.
the teacher knows. Hey, something's up.
But he can read the notifications from the top panel.
That's true.
Yeah.
You can still get the notifications.
It will still pop out.
I think there's not too much you can do about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I think this is a good time for our last break for this episode. So the time is 44 minutes after 1. Ang DZUP 1602 ay kasapi ng KBP o kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas. You know the drill? Kasali ka.
Kasalika.
Yes.
Iitalakayan.
At kami po ay nagbabalik muli dito sa e-Talakayan kung saan ang IT ay hindi pang eksperto lamang kundi kaalamang inilalapit sa bayan. Kaya po ang inyong lingkod, si Joy, at kasama ko si Noel, and of course our guest, Mr. Ben Iiams, or Ben. Yeah, and we're talking about mobile apps for education, specifically the mobile application called Luki. Okay. So, I would like to situate Luki here in the Philippines, the education situation here in the
Right.
Philippines. So, what's your perspective on that? Would the use of iPads be feasible for our Philippine classrooms, or yeah?
That's actually a very good question, or very challenging question.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for example, the case here in the Philippines, not all classrooms have interconnection. And then if you'll be using tablets in the first place, one problem for sure that will be encountered is how to get access to those applications or resources uploaded on the internet. So the thing is, in my situation, in my classroom, about around 4 out of 20 students, they have tablets. Thing is, I practice the model of BYOD in the US. That is the bring your own device. The thing is, you can bring your own device. It can be a tablet, can be a laptop. Depends. Well, the thing is, as long as you can access. Sometimes I even told them to bring their own internet. as I mean, bring everything that you can, just to make sure that you can control the devices. I mean, you can secure them because they're valuables. The thing is, in a classroom setting, definitely mobile apps will play a big role, especially that the trend now is from the focuses from the teacher now to being student centered. So Loki is a very great app, especially if you want to really monitor the progress of the students and possibly aid them. Just like, for example, in my case, I had my students deliver webinars. So that are online seminars. This is very similar to Luki because they also have a common whiteboard wherein you can actually interact with the participants. You can write down on this whiteboard the screen. You can put out, for example, there's a world map. You can pinpoint the participants where they're located right now. So the thing is, definitely, if the ideal situation for the Filipino classroom, if they have a stable interconnection, and let's say if it is a 1:1 student device ratio, I believe that it will definitely boost up the competency skills of the students here in the Philippines.
So Ben, are you targeting this application for high school, elementary, or college, university?
Or what level? For example, or early grades will also be included in the test.
It's really geared towards secondary schools.
Secondary.
But we've tried to make it palatable and accessible for all varieties of students, whether it's primary or up to tertiary.
Tertiary.
But for your pilot, is for the secondary.
Yes, but far and away, I would say even most iPad schools here are in that space in the secondary schools.
Yeah.
So the setup there is they have to be face to face, or they can also use the same app. Let's say it is fully online, like distance education or distance learning.
It's accessible remotely, so I mean, very much we've designed it to enable classes locally. But that said, if you're a student, you're sick, you can't, you're bedridden, and you want to participate in class or at least follow along, you have that ability with our application.
So that would be very helpful for distance education,
Right.
because it's like you're in a classroom, but you're still getting what almost or most of what the students who are in the classroom are getting. So yeah. What else?
Can you tell us more about what the future of Loki will be? I mean, what are the future plans?
Well, so we're really focused on the steps in front of us. So this means really refining our application and getting it right before commercialization. If you have your head in the clouds, it's very difficult to make make the steps necessary to be successful. So we're focused on right now staying local, getting great feedback from our school partners before taking this to down other avenues.
I see.
Mhm.
So for instance, can my college become a partner as well? Let's say if they assuming they don't have a class of tablets, only the teachers have, and some students, can that be also, included in the?
There are definitely solutions. If you reach out to us through our website, we'll be happy to put you in touch with the necessary solutions providers so that you can test out the application.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're a school that's considering mobile device enablement, there are definitely a lot of vendors out there that are eager for you to try and access their solutions, and so there's definitely an ecosystem to support you.
Right.
Mhm.
How about competitors? Are there possible competitors for the app?
I
Or not
mean,
yet?
I think some people like to spin it that way, but
Mhm.
we really see this as first and foremost a huge opportunity. There are 10 million iPad schools around the world. No telling how many Android schools.
Right.
Mhm.
When it comes to where it will be next year or the year after, there will be so much more. And right now, our focus isn't on competitors, but on really serving the needs of the user.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if there are many competitors, nobody
Right,
says they're
right.
getting it right. And so that's why we really just focused on the usage case, eliminating the pain points and driving a solution that makes people happy.
Okay, so how do you plan to commercialize this? Will you be selling this individually for
Yeah.
the students or one bulk for a school, for example?
Like a plan, premium plan,
Yeah.
or maybe there's a free plan as well.
Mhm.
Nothing's off the table right now.
Mhm.
The focus is definitely working with schools and distributing in that way, and certainly when the schools that we've spoken with so far have a very strong appetite to improve their solution set.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that is the primary means. But that said, in a few months, if you as a professor would like to download an individual copy, of course you'll find it in the App Store.
Ah.
Okay.
So where's the target release of the app? When is the target release?
Well, we say there's no hard deadline, right? When it's ready, basically.
Ah, really?
We're targeting the beginning of 2014,
2014.
just as a guideline. But when we say when it's ready, we really will try to
So
stick
it can
to
be
that.
this year as well.
When it's ready.
When it's ready. Okay, so do you have any last words for our listeners about Lookie, or especially to the schools that you would want to do your testing?
Well, I thought
application.
Noel's last point actually is a nice segue into
Mhm.
the thought that right now there's a lot of opportunity in mobile education. There's a lot of potential. We've definitely seen a lot of schools replace their textbooks. They've
Right.
taken the load off students' backs
Mhm.
by putting hundreds of pages worth of text
Yeah.
into tablet formats. But when you think of what's actually possible with tablets, there's so much more. And whether Lookie is the right answer to help push forward this frontier of collaboration, it really, I think, is incumbent upon schools to see and realize the value that's possessed in these tablets. It's more than an e-reader. It's
Right,
it's an opportunity to collaborate
Yeah.
and work together in ways that haven't been explored before. So
Mm.
encourage your listeners to try it out.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope that our listeners have learned a lot about the mobile applications for education. Of course, Lookie. So abangan nyo yan, mga kaibigan. So watch out for that, for the release of
Oh,
Lookie.
baka this year na yun.
Yes,
If
okay.
it's
So
this year.
so what is your website? So
Yeah.
you
So
tell
it's
us.
lookieapp.com.
Mhm.
It's LOOKEEAPP.com.
Okay. So yan. So access nyo lang yung app na yan, and you could send your email. Do you have a
Maybe I have a email address.
Yes. It's just very easy. Ben@lookieapp.com.
yan, ben at lookieapp.com.
All right.
All right. So a couple of announcements before we end this episode. So we have our contest t-shirt alert, shirt alert. Okay, so get a chance to win this awesome Keep Calm and Innovate shirt. Just follow the steps. So number 1, like our Facebook page on e-Talakayan. Follow us on Twitter or twitter.com/e-Talakayan. And in 300 words or less, tell us how and why you listen to e-Talakayan. Tell us about your favorite topic, favorite comedy moment, favorite guest, and etc. And what do you want to know more about in terms of ICT in our future episodes? So, ayan. So, the deadline for submissions is on October 30. Malapit na yon. Next week. Okay. And we will announce a winner on November 6. Okay. So, remember, nasa YouTube rin kami. So, if you want to refresh your memory, punta lang kayo sa aming YouTube page. So, search nyo lang e-Talakayan. Okay, so shirt alert. So that is a very nice shirt. Yung Keep Calm and Innovate. Okay. I, of course, also include your name, contact details, and Twitter or Facebook account names on your submissions. Okay. So that's it. Okay, so thank you so much, Ben.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
Do
for
you have
having me.
anyone do you want to greet?
Special message? Or
Special message to your friends?
greetings? Yeah.
I'll say hi to my mom.
Yeah, hi.
It's well, there's no real special occasion coming up just yet, but always thinking about you, Mom.
Hello po.
Hello.
She's a Filipino, right?
She's a Filipino.
Hello po. Okay, so I would like to say hi to Trixie. Get well soon. Be with us next week. Okay, and sa content development team,
Hi.
ITDC, hello.
Galaw-galaw.
Yes. Okay, so thank you for listening. Ito na naman tayo sa isang episode ng Talakayan at Balitaan o Taliban. Yan, si Sir Mario din pala na nasa Cambridge. Sir
Hi.
Mario. Ayan, okay. So, see you again next week sa isang usapan ng IT dito sa e-Talakayan kung saan ang IT ay hindi pang eksperto lamang kundi kaalamang nilalapit sa bayan. So, goodbye!
Bye!